Many people over the years have been suspected to be Satoshi Nakamoto, the creator of Bitcoin. Some who advertise that they are have been the punchline for many jokes, while others have allowed suspicion to foster without making any claims. Today, we interview a whale in the crypto space. And if his claims are true, and we've no reason to believe they aren't, he was there at the beginning. His voice is disguised to protect his identity, and whether or not he's Satoshi remains to be known. But what will be revealed today is how passionate this person is for freedom and decentralization. Oh, and for NFTs. In fact, over the past month, he spent almost $1 million in wax on NFTs. Have we got your attention? He will. So get ready for an amazing hour of content as we welcome the whale known as the Blue Wizard to episode number 479 of the Bad Crypto Podcast.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, ignition.
Who's bad?
And welcome to the Bad Crypto Podcast, the show for the crypto curious, the crypto serious, and the crypto whale-less. Apparently, we have some beluga in the house today.
I'm the blue whalezard.
I don't know what that means.
Well, it's whale and it's wizard combined. It's a whalezard.
Oh, I see.
How did you miss that? Ugh.
I'm not the sharpest
I
tack.
hate you so much now.
Oh, hey.
Okay, I love you again. It's good.
Yeah, okay, thanks. Appreciate that. Welcome to the show, gang. This is a truly epic interview. You do not want to miss a single syllable of what is coming your way today. You're going to be scratching your head and puzzling along with us. Is this possibly, potentially, might this be the one and only Satoshi Nakamoto? Don't know. What I do know,
it is hard to say. But you know what? This interview is really interesting. But before we get to that, let's get into the AnyTask conversation here because, you know, Electroneum has gained a lot of adoption in the last 3 years. You know, they really want to, you know, bank the unbanked. They've got over 4 million users worldwide in these 3 years. And it's really cool because with ETN tokens, users can around the world top up their phones in 140 countries, and they can top up their electricity in 4 countries, and that's Electroneum. But what's really cool is they launched a freelance marketplace called anytask.com, and there are thousands of freelancers there, over 15,000, and they earn in ETN tokens, and they actually are able to take those and do what they do with them, man. So it's really awesome. And we're going to see some really cool stuff to use AnyTask for the creation of NFTs down the road. There's going to be some great stuff popping up all around AnyTask. So if you need some tasks done, you need some NFTs done, you need some digital art, you need a video, you need something, anything digital, go to anytask.com and do it whenever you need to.
you might not need a digital art, but you might need a digital fart, in which case the iFart mobile app has got you covered. In fact, we are releasing an update, the first update in quite some time. So if you guys,
what's it called? What's the update?
It's iFart mobile still, but there's some different features, and it's also more cross-platform for iOS and Android. And there's a new look to it.
Are their farts more juicy?
They smell more real.
Nice. That's really good. I really like how the iPhone brought in that new smell-o-vision ability.
Yeah. iFartmobile.com. Yes, I am the guy behind that. So
he's the guy behind the behind.
You're welcome, people of the world. I know that there's been billions of farts served. I'm certain of it.
So basically, you're the fart master.
Think how much laughter that silly little app has created around the world. I mean, that I've spread more joy with that ridiculous little sound effect app than anything else I've done in my life. What does that tell you?
Well, I do know that NFTs are bringing quite a bit of delight to folks as well.
Well, yeah, and there will be millions of people in the NFT space in the future, and we're not the only ones who think so. There are people who are putting their money where their mouth is in a big, big way. And without any further ado, let's get into our interview with the Blue Wizard. We're off to see the wizard, the wonderful wizard of Blue. Yeah. That's kind of
Wizard of NFTs.
Wizard of NFTs. He is known as the Blue Wizard. He is anonymous. We don't know his name. We have heard his voice, and for the purpose of this interview, we're applying a voice changer. We haven't decided yet, as of the recording, what it's going to be. We might make him sound like Thanos or something like that. It could be great fun. Unlike the Wizard of Oz, well, like the Wizard of Oz, he is anonymous, but unlike the Wizard of Oz, he's the real deal because he showed up on the scene in the wax ecosystem about 6 weeks ago. And since that time, he has spent $950,000 in wax on NFTs. Just absolutely mind-blowing amount of wax. And so, Mr. Wizard of the Shade of Blue, we welcome you to the Bad Crypto Podcast.
Thank you. It's great to be here again.
So my first question is really the most obvious because of the amount of money you're putting into NFTs, and from your Twitter account, which you guys can follow him. The Twitter account is Hidden in the Guard 1, HIDENINTHEGARD1. We'll link it in the show notes. You claim to be buying a lot of Bitcoin as well, and buying enough to move the markets. The question is, are you Satoshi Nakamoto?
Oh, that is a very loaded question there. The legend of Nakamoto has been talked about for many, many years. And the way they describe it is Satoshi is a entity that brought Bitcoin to the world, but it wasn't for the purposes of money and monetary gain. It was mainly to drive technology to a point where humans could evolve and start realizing that money wasn't the drive of their lives, but technology was the drive of their lives, and money was just a secondary thing, reversing basically everything that has been constructed around the way you think. What I did and what I've done in the past before, a very political answer, by the way, without answering your question at all.
I noticed that. I did notice that, and I'm going to ask again, are you Satoshi Nakamoto?
You can keep asking that question, but I can tell you that Satoshi was originally going to reveal him, her, their self on the 24th of July, 2022, at the time that Bitcoin would be $1 million per token. This was the assessment of what the coin would drive to by that year. I don't know why the specific date, maybe to coincide with the birthday, maybe to coincide with a special significant date to them. In the past, Satoshi was involved a lot in Magic the Gathering back in the 90s, 93 to 96. And then after that, went into the world of cryptology and did many other cryptology projects, working for government agencies, etc., before he, they, or she decided of this grand plan to literally change the next, 20 to 100 generations on Earth. Money was never the object. It was always a long-term vision.
That's a fascinating answer. And the world looks a lot different in 2021 than it did in 2008, right? 2008, there's the crash that happened, the big economic downturn. All these banks get basically, lifted up. They get loaned all this additional money, and a lot of stuff, the housing bubble crashed, and a whole lot of crazy things happened. And at that point, I was thinking, oh, wow, this thing might be going down. I need to get some gold and silver. And at that time, was around the time where the white paper was released. And then we just had, the 12th birthday of the Genesis block on January 3rd. It launched on 2009, January 3rd. And here we are recording this timestamp on the 13th of January in 2021, so 12 years later. And the world has changed greatly. Crypto has taken off, and since you were in there on the early stages of this, did you think that we would be where we are at this point with crypto and the adoption of this? Is this, because I know that we've had conversations before, and you were like, I think 10 years down the road this could be. So maybe take us back 10, 12 years to when you first started thinking about this, or when you first heard about Bitcoin, and has it reached your expectations at this point?
Yes, it has. We did have a few hiccups along the way. You see, my original assessment of Bitcoin way back in the beginning, and I started way back in the beginning. I started before Bitcoin, when it was only conceptual. And people were talking about it on forums and Usenet groups and old Reddit groups that were just beginning and just forming. So Reddit was nothing like it is today. Usenet was nothing like it is today. And the internet was nothing like it is today. The adoption rate has increased in such a way that now more people are involved, from millions and millions of wallets with under 100 Satoshi in it for the people who can't afford Bitcoin, and tens of thousands of wallets with 1 Bitcoin in it, and then only about 20 whales which control the large amounts of Bitcoin on Earth. I believed that 2017 would be this massive flare-up to a $20,000 Bitcoin, but I thought that people would see that it is possible now to go higher. What happened was human emotion got in the way, as it always does, and people have these set psychological limits on their in their brain. They go, at 20,000 I'll sell, at 15,000 I'll sell, at 32,000 I'll sell, and they set these limits which are totally irrelevant to the Fibonacci sequence. The way the coin is designed is the math code equation gets harder each time you solve it. So each time you solve the equation, it gets harder and harder to mine, harder and harder to accumulate. Therefore, your liquidity is constantly going down. Now what you have is people. People are the element that destroy everything, honestly. They come in and they take their ideas of where they want to be, whether they're coming in from a non-traditional investing point, where they go, I'm going to put $10,000 of my money. It's gone to $40,000. I will pull out. I am happy. I have made 3 to 1 on my money. I'm going to go buy my car or my, put a down payment on my house. Where they should be treating Bitcoin as a vessel for a future. It's a nest egg. Pop it away in a safe. Don't do anything with it. Don't fall into Ponzi schemes or crazy, 20 to 1 on your money in a month scams that are flying around the internet. And protect yourself as a nest egg, because if you do that, and everyone did that, Bitcoin would be sitting currently at around 150,000 a coin. But what we happened instead is we had a 80% dump of the market share in 2018, and the coin went all the way down to 3,000 at one point, and sat there for 12 weeks at $3,000, and then eventually started climbing up to 6,000 and 8,000. Then it got to 8,000, it sat there for another 12 weeks. I mean, these are things that are just terrible for the currency, because people start believing everything they're reading online, and they start thinking, oh, it's dead, it's done, it's finished. But now we have a new kind of game being played. Now we have the adoption from the banking industry and as we call them, the big boys with the big bankrolls. They're coming in, they're pumping the coin up as high as they can. They did a recent pump to 41,000, and then they dropped it 5,500 in 20 minutes. Now, to them, that's peanuts. They're making money on the down, they're making money on the up. People like a regular person, that's their whole, investment gone in 10 seconds. And they lose faith in Bitcoin completely. Big banks and big corporations want you to lose faith in Bitcoin because they want your Bitcoin. They cannot get your Bitcoin because you are holding the keys. They want you to drop the coin. So whatever psychological thing you have set in your brain, remove it. Remove your emotion. I keep posting this on Twitter. I keep telling everyone in the groups, remove your emotion from the equation when it comes to investment.
I think that's wise advice. We are not financial advisors. We're not sure if you are, but you're being anonymous and people can take it as advice if they want to or not. Now, I'm curious about this. When you surfaced into the wax arena, you spoke a lot about the similarities in NFTs and Bitcoin in its early stages and holding on to NFTs. But they're really different, right? One is a cryptocurrency, the other are digital collectibles or digital art. So maybe you can tell us why you think NFTs are such a big deal.
Okay, it's all the same, and I find this question perplexing in a way. NFT is a non-fungible token, which is basically something that can't be changed. It's an art piece that can't be copied or mirrored or anything like that because it has a digital stamp on the blockchain. Yes, of course, someone can, copy anyone's art and try and release it again. But that particular piece that was done by that particular artist cannot be copied. It would be a fake basically, and the artist would then have a choice to remove the entire line to destroy the person from making any kind of profit, or keep it and label their document in a way that they would have a certificate or something attached to it saying that it's real. But you are going to get more and more fake NFTs coming up and more, the same sort of like Nigerian scams, in the past with the letters saying that they're the Prince of Zaire and, that you have inherited $1 million. You're going to get the same sort of thing with NFT as NFT grows. NFT has a large problem right now where you cannot get wax tokens anywhere except for one exchange or through like a Change Now or a Changely. And most of those stock run out very fast. So unless a big company like Binance, Kraken, or someone that accepts Americans start taking wax on their exchanges, the entire NFT community is going to have to change into a smart contract system through some other currency and dump wax altogether. Otherwise, it won't survive. But I believe that wax is really trying as hard as it possibly can to fix the errors. I've talked to people personally at the highest level. They all know the Blue Wizard. They know that I am behind wax 1000%. I'm buying some incredible pieces, NFT art, that are wax related. That actually have wax logos on them and wax certificates and etc. I bought one from you guys from the last night for $10,000, one of one. I was opening packs all night long to try and get the one that you told me was still out there. I went and bought maybe 700 packs from your store last night just to go. I spent 4 hours on the computer last night trying to find that one mysterious person that still hasn't been unboxed.
Now, were you looking in the Series 1 packs or Series 2?
Both. I was doing both. Where is she?
So in Series 1, which are the blue packs, the hero packs in particular, is where Electric Genesis has yet to be revealed. There's 10,000 total packs. And to date, about 910 or 9,010 have been opened. So less than 10% of the hero packs are remaining. and the electric Genesis will drop in one of those.
Okay, so I'm going to say that whoever can get this electric Genesis card, I will pay $20,000 for it. So whoever gets that card, $20,000 is going your way. So go out and buy packs and try and find me that card, because that will make you $20,000 richer. I also dropped a document in your chat box right now, which I wrote in 2007, giving you a full outline as to how I believe Bitcoin will be moving along the decades. It's a multi-decade plan going through almost 40 years. This was written in 2007, so that's to give you an idea of who you're talking to, but without saying it.
I notice I'm looking at the secondary market right now for these the hero packs, which are the yellow and the blue ones. That's from Series 1. It looks like the lowest one on the market right now is about $27. And there's 27, 28. And there's not a whole lot of them on the market. Actually, they're mostly gone.
Okay, I'm just going to clarify here, because you just sent us a document. I'm assuming, and I'll ask the question in a moment, we have permission to share this document with our listeners.
Yes, you have.
Okay, this document has a Bitcoin global roadmap, and it says stage 1 is birth of Bitcoin. It says 2007 Bitcoin design and coding, 2008 October white paper published. My only conclusion based on what you've just said is you are Satoshi frickin' Nakamoto.
You may assume anything you wish to assume, but currently in this shell, I am the Blue Wizard.
You know, I want to, we had a conversation earlier. I think whenever there was some stuff going on with Bitcoin Origins was popping off, and we had a conversation with you on a live stream that's actually no longer available because it's ephemeral content. If you heard it, you heard it. If you didn't, you didn't. It's gone now. But you talked about your early stages and how you have you love puzzles and how you're able to really figure things out. And I think you said that you went to the hardest escape room in the world and you got out of it in like a couple of minutes. Like, tell us about your fascination around puzzles and your thought process around solving them, because you don't think in a linear fashion. You think in a different way than most people do.
Correct. It is also a problem of humanity where you attach things too much in a linear scale, where a person decides that their life has to be a culmination of events in a linear sequence, from birth to growth to education of the mind, to then building up a family, to then growing that family, to growing a business, and then to dying and leaving a legacy for your family to move on. Same with the adoption of money and taking that money and growing it, etc., etc. I don't think in those terms. I think in the terms of, where is this planet going to be in 100 years if we continue doing what we're doing to it today? If we continue along the path that we're going today, with wars and the scribbling rivalry, almost high school level bigotry and hatred and racism through cross borders, we are going to destroy ourselves as a human race. And within 100 years, there's not going to be much left of this planet. We're seeing it right now with the coronavirus, literally stopping our world dead in its tracks. We're going into year 2 right now. In the previous deleted interview, I did mention that I believe it will go till the end of 2021. I believe by the year 2022, that's when the recovery reset will take place, and we will start moving on into a 10-year, decade-long rebuild. I'm going to continue into the second part of this, of how I think about puzzles. I was always curious in chess from when I was very young. At age 6, I started learning chess. I saw my first chessboard. I was fascinated with the way the pieces moved. I wanted to learn everything. I was a child savant growing up. I finished and graduated high school level at age 14. So by the age of 16, I had already finished everything to do that there was to do for studying. I moved on into the quantum physics and biomolecular mathematics, stuff that was just not even heard in popular science. I would ingest books. I would just read hundreds and hundreds of books a year. I filled my mind with multiple languages. I speak multiple languages. I read and write in multiple languages. I use this as a tool because it's a lot of fun for me being able to walk around completely anonymous and listen to what people are saying and understand everything and never reveal that card. I found a puzzle when I was a little bit older in America. It was called Farouk. I don't know if you can look it up, but I was one of 2 people in the entire world that solved this puzzle in 7 moves. The author of this puzzle said it was absolutely impossible and that I had to be an AI in order to solve it. The other person who solved it was a man named Bruce Brumberg. He's a lead mathematician at NASA at the time. I don't know where he is today. At the time, I asked to remain anonymous as the solver of the puzzle. So my name was never mentioned anywhere. In regards to it, if you ever find the Mensa article, it will say 2 people solved this puzzle. It doesn't actually give you any of the names. Though Bruce came out publicly 5 years later and said that he solved it solely by himself. And I've been trying to locate that article. I also solved a puzzle called The Brain back in 1996. I solved that in 37 seconds. Rubik's Cube I can do behind my back in about a minute.
Nice.
The Rubik's Clocks, I solved that in about 17 minutes. The latest puzzle from Gittim on the BTCO chain that they just released with the crop circles, the latest one, the one before, this current one now. I solved the crop circle one in about 14 minutes. I put clues on the wall and that helped him solve the puzzle, but I had figured out the entire solution within 10 minutes of him posting it.
That's amazing.
Well, let's jump back to NFTs here for a moment because I'm duly impressed and I want to do an escape room with you. I'll just stand back and go, "We did it in 10 minutes. We're out. We did it. This is great."
Yeah.
Were you into NFTs when they began on the Ethereum blockchain, or has your interest in them just really come in discovering what's happening on Wax?
I loved CryptoKitties when it came out originally back in, I think, 2016, 17 area. And I had a CryptoKitty account with hundreds and hundreds of these things. And as you do, sometimes you lose passwords and ideas and things. I've just started recovering it now. And I have some of the most rarest kitties that are out there. I also was into buying airspace, where you could buy little parcels of land in New York and, all kinds of things. I joined many, many NFTs back then, and I spent equivalent of about 2,000 Ethereum at the time. So I have hundreds and hundreds and thousands of these NFTs, and I'm recovering my account slowly. Now that I've made such an impact in the NFT world, most of the companies are working with me directly, the CEOs, and I'm recovering those accounts faster without having to prove myself out, via IDs and whatnot. I just show them some old wallet addresses and they're matching them up. And I'm working with most of the IT guys behind the scenes on doing that. I've also registered the name Blue Wizard on the Block.io blocks on the Wax chain, but I haven't been able to claim it since the claim button was deleted for some reason, and I've been begging Wax to, just put that name up there for me because I would like to be my own self. I did pay 5,000 Wax for the name to reserve it, but it's been just sitting there blankly for the last 6 weeks. It's quite annoying.
Man, you're telling a sad story that reminds me of me. Like, I had all kinds of great crypto kitties, and then my computer crashed. Like, we found out about it that day, and we go, "Oh, this is awesome!" And then my MetaMask, I just set it up, and then that day my laptop crashed. And then in 2010, I had 55 Bitcoin. I went to a Nick Szabo faucet, got 5 Bitcoin, and then I installed it after the Slashdot article, and I figured it out, and then I mined a block of Bitcoin, and then my computer crashed. I needed to get a new one for a new job, and then I ended up getting a new hard drive. That one is in a dumpster somewhere far away, buried from 2010. So it's like losing crypto. That's like my thing. It's like what I'm known for. So I feel your pain.
Look, a lot of people have lost a lot of crypto, and there's been a lot of different ways people have lost crypto. So in the beginning stages of the token, before it was known as a coin, and people were trading these tokens for pizzas and trading them for eBay cards or Amazon cards or online, credit. These people didn't know what a token was worth. A token was worth pennies, cents, a millicent. So you would have these blockchain conventions that would come up, try to teach people what a Bitcoin is. They'd rally them in New York. 20 people would stand around in a room, and they'd go, "Come on, this is going to be the most next incredible thing." And they would hand you 5 Bitcoin on a little QR code. And people would just trash them, throw them in the trash, use them as bookmarkers, throw them away down a drain pipe. A whole bundle of tens of thousands of coin were lost. Then the next year, they had a bigger convention and a bigger one. And the biggest one was in, I think, around 2016. Bitcoin had gotten the adoption that it was really wanting. The momentum was there. It was around $800 a coin. This was a little bit before Donald Trump decided to be president, run for president. And there was a convention in Miami, and they were giving away 1 Bitcoin for every person walking into that convention. There were thousands of Bitcoin given, thousands and thousands. And out of all of those thousands of coins that were all logged on a ledger, that the administrator has that ledger key, only 50 have been recovered today. So that means the remaining thousands and thousands are sitting in drawers or in old bags or, under a bench or whatever, and then there are, on top of this, there are people who mined back in the day. So these miners would mine thousands of coins a day on their, shitty computers. A computer today, you could mine maybe 1 Satoshi a day, 1 Satoshi.
Right.
Not 1 coin or 50 coins or 1,000 coins. These people mine thousands of coins. I recently came in touch with a lady who reached out to me on Twitter saying I inspired her to fully research her house because her husband used to be in Bitcoin and then he died. And she went through the entire house and the basement and everything, found the hard drive where he mined his coin, plugged it into the computer, and found 10,000 Bitcoin.
Oh my God. That's amazing.
Wow. That is incredible.
Life-changing, to say the least.
Well, she did not understand that a Bitcoin was $37,000, so I had to educate her on the blockchain, what it was, get a person to fly to where she was, sync it with the blockchain itself, because she got all the derivations also. So she gets Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin SV and Bitcoin Diamond and Bitcoin.
All right.
She gets every Bitcoin. So now she has 10,000 of each of the currencies. After she was explained, we only removed 50. We got her a licensed broker to exchange it, such as a Coinbase or a Gemini. I think she went with Gemini at the time, and have it converted to fiat and stuck in her bank. And then it hit her what she had. After the 50 was converted to cash.
Wow.
That's spectacular. And you know what? I mean, I would ask you this: then how many Bitcoin do you think are lost? Because I just read an article yesterday about some guy who was using this iron key thing, and he has like 10 times to try to figure out his password, or it's gone forever. He has like 220 million Bitcoin dollars worth of Bitcoin. Like, there's estimations of what, 3 to 5 million Bitcoin maybe that are lost. 2 million. How many do you think are lost?
I could tell you the exact number, but then Joel would probably explode. So there is a trace algorithmic program built into the blockchain which traces each coin, which was created for a sort of inventory for its creator, allegedly.
I promise not to explode. I might implode, though. How many?
Currently, 4,322,000 coin.
Wow.
I just imploded a little.
Okay.
It makes me not feel so bad because I only lost 55. So that's not that many compared to 4.32 million of them, which you think about that now. And right now there's 18 million plus that are in circulation minus the 4.3 million that are lost. So there's 13.7 million. And then a lot of people are holding them. And so a lot of those coins are never making it into liquidity for people to be able to buy. And so when you think about how there's 21 million, but there's 4 million lost, so there's 17 million, but there's only a small fraction of them even available on the market. So I'm surprised that the price, isn't much higher than it is at this point.
Technically, it is higher, and it is being controlled by the large whales in the world now to keep it at a lower point. It is also being heavily manipulated by organizations right now. You've got Cash App, who just entered the space very strongly, and PayPal, who entered the space very strongly, and Grayscale, who entered the space extremely strongly. These three companies have decided to go directly to the miners who are minting 900 fresh coins a day, and those coins are never reaching the market. So those coins are being bought up pre-market on the OTC market. Most people don't know that an OTC market even exists for Bitcoin, and let alone where to find it. But there is an OTC market for almost every coin. These people are seizing up coins before they enter the marketplace. The idea is, and this was also discussed a long time ago, that you can take a coin and lift it to a psychological limit that a human's cracking point, 50,000, 100,000. Those 2 points are very psychological for some reason in people's brains. So it goes to 50,000 or almost hits 50,000 and crashes to 20,000 overnight. You, as a human being, have the endorphic rush of it going up, but then have a cataclysmic, almost depression, want to just jump off a bridge once it goes down to 20,000 and have that psychosomatic reaction that you have to sell. So you sell out, the companies come and buy all your coin, and now they're removed from the marketplace. Next thing you know, recovery, like we've just had experienced. So on Saturday night, I wrote on a group, a private group that I have with 80 people. I wrote, Bitcoin will go down to around $31,140. And then it will take 2 full business days to recover to its previous condition. And it's done exactly verbatim as to what I said, to the exact timeline days prior. So it's not it's a predictive mathematical code. Okay, so Fibonacci is a code that is a self-growing code which doubles in strength each time you crack it. A quantum computer can now crack a Fibonacci sequence within about 11 seconds. A photonic can do it in about 2 seconds. But no people on Earth, not many, have access to photonic computers or quantum computers. So what they do is they do farming. and they have thousands of Antminers in a building all crunching the one coin, and they're making on average 2 or 3 coin a day. But let's say there was a company right next to you where you live right now, mining 2 or 3 coin a day, and you had an Antminer sitting in your living room. It would be the equivalent of you trying to take gas out of a straw that's being squeezed by a giant, and that's how many Satoshis you'd be making, maybe 15 Satoshis a day, as opposed to your neighbors next door making 2 or 3 Bitcoin a day. So that's where we are right now. So we've got a squeeze in the market, and we've got companies that need coin but can't get it because you have coin, and all the people listening to this have coin, and they want your coin. They don't want you to hold. They want the coin from you. But they know that you're not going to sell it at 31,000 because in your brain, 100,000 is the magic number. So they're going to pump that thing right up to 100,000. They're going to sit it there for 24 hours to give you that endorphic rush so you can sell, right? And then they are going to dump the coin down to 10,000 again. And they're going to pick up coins all the way down as you lose your mind selling. And then you will never be able to get a solid coin ever again in your lifetime because they're going to take it from 10,000 to 400,000 overnight. There's not going to be a $100, $200 price differential rise or $500 or $1,000 or $3,000 rise. It will suddenly go from 10 to 150, then 150 to 400. And at that point, you're going to be stuck. The average person will not be able to get a solid coin.
Let me ask you this, because this is one of the biggest questions that people have, and you kind of touched base on it with quantum computing and some of that photonic computing, which is something I've not really heard too much about. What happens when quantum computers are able to crack the SHA-256? Like, that's one concern that a lot of people have is like quantum computing is coming. What happens to Bitcoin then?
Quantum computing is here. Quantum computing has been around for about 14 years or so, off-site, in government facilities. Microsoft has used quantum computing. Google has used quantum computing. There's been many quantum computers out there. Publicly, now you do have access to use quantum computing. If you go down to Google, you can rent time on a quantum computer. And you can use its force to crack through algorithms and check things and do all kinds of things. I mean, Grand Central Station uses a quantum computer to run all of its operations. So there are quantum computers out there. They're not focused on the blockchain per se. There aren't companies using quantums to mine coin. And that's probably because it would kill them in the long term. Because it would make the coin far more scarce in a faster period of time. And they're also scared that it might actually crack the actual blockchain itself. And the blockchain is now being used for multiple other things besides Bitcoin, like military operations and other important intrinsic medical operations. So they don't want to destroy the blockchain per se. Now, they will try to reduce the coins, though. They'll try to reduce them down to levels that are psychologically inhibiting for a person to dump out so they can seize control of the market and then push it up. They don't want to lose the public support of the coin, and they can't devaluate the coin as being a non-intrinsic method, because then that devaluates their own beliefs going forward, like a US dollar-based digital currency or a euro or a yen or whatever. So they have to tell you digital is the way to go. They can't tell you digital is not the way to go. In regards to photonic computing was developed in the year 2004. It was used solely as a testing facility. It was in popular mechanics way back then as a hypothetical. And only recently did photonic plans start getting leaked of the patents and mentioned in different magazines, etc., as the new cutting edge. But I can tell you right now from personal experience that we're well beyond photonic. But I can't tell you what it is for another 3 years because I'm under NDA.
It's hypersonic. It's grease lightning. That's what it is. I have so many questions for you, and no matter how many we get through today, we're going to invite you back again because you're just absolutely fascinating. And I want to talk about Bitcoin. I want to talk about altcoins. I want to talk about the world financial systems, and I want to talk about NFTs. But you sent this link in the chat, which is clearly something you want to talk about. It's for a website called federalcryptoreserve.com. What is this?
This is a recovery site for people who have been scammed online in any kind of Ponzi scheme, and many of us have. I was taken to the cleaners for 1,600 coins with a company called USI Tech in 2016, and everyone, remember, you're nodding, I know you did it. So everyone did this, all right, because it was everywhere. It was all over the YouTube, make your 1% a day or 2% a day, and blah 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 blah. And now I know all the people are arrested and in jail and whatever right now, but this is a recovery site. But what they also do is they recover wallets. So if people have lost coin over the years, based on your information that you have, if you have your SHA keys or your private and public keys, they can recover lost wallets. And that is in particular interest for many of your viewers who have lost coins over the years, or if anyone has been involved in crypto Ponzi scams, and there's literally thousands of them. You know, I was going to say hundreds of thousands, but there are thousands that are known of, and there are sites going on right now, like, Hot Dog Coin, which is the most ridiculous website you'll ever see in your life, where you can generate 10,000 hot dogs a day by putting in 5 Bitcoin, and the hot dogs are then converted into coin, which is the most ridiculous. I mean, it's obviously a scam, but people obviously love hot dogs also, so they buy it just for the shits and giggles. And then there is also different sites that come out there. They're called HYIP. They're high yield, high return sites. They'll come and go. I mean, they literally pop up. They'll come around for about a month and then they'll be gone. They just disappear. They come up and they disappear, and it's always the same model. We make you money now, yes? And that's their tagline. We make you money now, yes. You know, it's ridiculous. I mean, the human being is attracted to large numbers, you see. So if you tell someone, like if a Merrill Lynch comes out and tells you, Joel, we're going to make you 1% a year on your Bitcoin, or Nexo comes out, and that's a really big company, and that's a really fantastic site, and completely legit, right? And has, you can store your cryptocurrency there and actually take credit lines while holding your asset intact, right? And make 5.9% per annum. That is very legit. But a human's brain doesn't want legit. Humans are the most complicated creatures on Earth. They want 75% in 1 month, 3 times your money in 1 month, 16 times your money in 1 month. They go for things like that. Their brains are in tune to jump at the higher percentage, which is obviously a lie. So, if you're making the slow amount, the tortoise and the hare, it comes to mind. You've got the person who is sitting and making that slow amount every day, even though it doesn't calculate to much right now today. In 10 years, that's the equivalent of making 50,000 a day, right? But people don't think I'm making 50,000 a day. I'm making 11 cents a day. Why the hell should I be in this program? This is crazy. This is so stupid. I have this stupid miner on. I'm making 1 Litecoin a day, and Litecoin's only $164. This is the stupidest thing. This is so stupid, right? But they don't think in linear mathematics where that means if Litecoin jumps up to $50,000 in 10 years or 20 years, that's the equivalent of making $50,000 or $20,000 a day. Now it's more interesting. And that's the same thing that's happening right now in the NFT space. You have a card that comes out, and it's a common card, all right? So what is your most common card for blockchain heroes?
I would say any of the common heroes or villains. They're all pretty similar in terms of,
Well, I would say this is that probably it's the number one. It's the first card in the series, Genesis common card, because it got burned least amount. It wasn't because there's a lot of them that we had, and they become rarer over time because we had burn mechanisms where, like there's a card, Courage. Courage has been burnt, 500 times? Courage has been burnt, but Satoshi's only had maybe a handful of those that have been burnt. So there's probably more, of the Genesis card than any of them, because it's a cool card. Nobody wants to burn a Genesis.
Okay, so how many Genesis cards are there in existence today?
1,500 maybe?
Yeah, of the common, probably fewer than that. We can actually go on the tools on Atomic Hub and look that up. So we'll get you some data right here. If we go to Atomic and we go to the Blockchain Heroes tab, and then you can go to the Hero Tools, you go to Collections, and this shows you everything on here, Series 2 and Series 1 and Common. So there's a total of 1,373 that have been brought out of packs, 102 have been burnt. So, this card is probably amongst the most common in the series.
So my strategy there would be to buy up all 1,373 cards, burn 1,300 of them, making that common card, number 73 left in the world, super expensive.
That's an interesting strategy. Now, those who are listening to audio can't see that I'm screen sharing here as well, but what I'm showing you right now, this is the Electric Genesis card that has yet to be issued, and you can see there's a max supply 1. So this is the Mona Lisa of Series 1 of the set, and this one you would not burn.
This one I would probably give away. You see, what I would probably do, because I'm also altruistic sort of individual and I like giving back to humanity, I am not anyone who meets me knows I don't care about money. Money doesn't mean anything to me. Money is a method that I have to survive, but intrinsically it means absolutely zero to me. It doesn't, I don't care about it. I give most of it away to friends, to family, to random strangers, to people online. I did that whole uplift thing a week ago where I had my apprentice who has a very soft voice, so you can't even hear her when she speaks on the microphone. We tested it before, and what she did is she went into the Minecraft world and she pressed a button to burn this giant statue, which I had won. And now I've got literally this entire island in Minecraft with this statue forever. And every year they're going to do a celebration and burn this thing. And that was to help people in Haiti, kids in Haiti. And I thought that was amazing. They're running another thing now that is on January 15th, which is going to try to raise $420,000 to, save all these children. I mean, I could do that in the snap of a finger, but that would kind of destroy the vision of the project. You want people involved in these things. You want more people involved. People out there. You want to save the life of a child? I mean, some of you out there, you've got money. Would you rather throw $555 on this crazy, useless piece of crap that you're going to put in your house during a pandemic? Or would you rather save a child's life? Think about the long term. What is that child to you? Actually, it means nothing to you because it's someone completely foreign to you. But what is that child? If that child is raised in the correct environment and grown and taught, that child may one day meet someone overseas, and that person might have a child with that child that is now an adult, and that child might become the next president of the United States, or the next world leader, or cure some horrible disease that we have. You have to start thinking in linear terms. Linear is not a straight line, and it's not wibbly wobbly like in Doctor Who. It's a term where you have to start thinking out of the box. You cannot think in specific straight answers. When you look at a puzzle, it is not a puzzle that is they throw these puzzles up. Look at this circle and try and find out what's going on. You have to strip the layers down. Photoshop allows you to strip every layer down, 500 layers, 800 layers. They do a very crafty job of it with Bitcoin Origins, where they take a card, an NFT card, and they pop it out there, and they say, there's a secret in the card. Easy peasy. Stick it into a Photoshop, Adobe, and strip the layers down, 500 layers, and read every single layer of coding, and there's your answer right there. But no one thinks like that. They look at the card, and they analyze the card, and they flip the card, and they put it in mirrors, and they're writing all these digits down, and they're spending days and days and days, and I watch it on weeks on these groups of trying to analyze the answer, and then I come in with 2 lines, and then the next day the answer's there. It's just, I find it like frustrating. So I am doing the Wizards Challenge 1 week before they launch their new series Moment. And the Wizards Challenge is going to give a reward of a Blockchain Heroes card, a Crypto Monkeys card, a Uplift card, every one of these cards, these big series, like yours and theirs, as a reward. And it's going to be available across all the different forums, the same quiz. It's going to have 2 questions, and they're going to be hard, actual puzzle questions, where you're going to actually have to use your brain. And a lot of people aren't going to be able to solve it. But the first one that comes with a solution and DMs me the solution gets a package worth, intrinsically, everything that I've bought it for, probably in the vicinity of 100,000. Now, what's a person going to do with that? A person, if it's a collector, they're going to save it until moment 15 and Blockchain Heroes moment, 20, and, Crypto Monkeys moment 20. They're going to save it for a year or 2 because then it will become more valuable. But humans aren't like that. So most likely they'll list all those cards on the market. And guess what's going to happen then? I'm just going to rebuy them all.
So you've shown some of your strategy here. You told us outright that you would buy all the common cards of some card, burn almost all of them but one. But I'm looking at your strategy because you can actually, on blockchain, you could see a wallet. And for those that want to see the wallet, the Blue Wizard's address is 1f4aw.wham. And I'm not seeing a lot of rhyme and reason. I see sometimes you'll buy a number 1, a low mint of something, and you'll pay a lot. Other times you'll buy, like right here, I'm looking at gallery crates, and I don't think these were the cheapest prices on there, but I've seen you pay really high amounts when there's alternatives. Is it just that you just want to bless the people who are selling it?
Mathematical algorithms is my answer. Some of these crates have certain numbers which stick out in certain equations in mathematics that are more favorable to the lower percentage cards showing up in those algorithms. It's a non-random sequence. So most programmers program things in odd numbers, and they place cards into these algorithmic boxes, if you wish, and they don't do things at true random value. Now they're starting to learn, and they're starting to do true random drops, where they do not know where the card is. Most of the programmers I know every box that has the rare cards in it. They have it on a Google spreadsheet somewhere. so they know that box number 227 has an ultra rare card in it, right? But if they set their computer to true random drop, they would not know. It could suddenly be in pack number 177 for $1.52, or it could be in pack, 2,755. But if you look at the non-sequential mathematics, it's called hypermathematics, if you want to look it up, you can predict different sequential numbers that would act as a sort of like a compass showing you where a particular coin is. I mean, there's no coincidence that I pulled 3 ultra rare 0.01% dead mal cards. I have 3 of them in my collection. There's only 6 in existence currently. I have 900 packs in my collection. I'm sure if I open all 900 packs, I'm going to get another 2 or 3. Mathematically, there can be 9 in existence, just by the mathematics. So I know all holders of all other 3 cards. It is quite possible that I can make negotiations with all 3 people at the same time, buy all 3 cards, and corner the entire market. And there will not be any ultra rare cards on the market anymore.
That's interesting. So that we have some questions from the Telegram of folks that are in the community and wanted to ask you some quick questions. So first question here is, what is the most valuable NFT that you've acquired in your eyes? And maybe what is your favorite one that just is the coolest that you think is so beautiful?
I made a deal with one of the original designers a long time ago, and I pulled a Satoshi sketch card from him directly. I bought that as one of one. I also bought some stuff through OpenSea and through Rareables and some other things. I cornered the market on Rareables with the sketch card there. I bought 6 out of the 10 in existence. It took me weeks to do it. I offered crazy amounts because I didn't care, because I know in 10 years from now they'll be worth, tens of, thousands of dollars. Not that I'd ever sell them in the first place. I still have 20 Black Lotuses, alpha condition, mint. I don't touch them. I have a original Charizard from one of the original packs worth around $300,000. I don't touch it. I gave a friend another Charizard, and she doesn't touch it. So it's you could pay a mortgage payment in the future, your whole house can be paid off with one of these cards, and it's the same for NFT. You look at NFT, and I buy totally random at sometimes, and sometimes I have a methodology to it. Sometimes I go, okay, so we've got 4,000 black packets of dead mal. If I can buy 2,000, I have half the market. So that was my goal there. So I bought 2,000 packs, and I bought 1,000 of the white packs. So I had half the market within about 20 minutes of it going live. Now, and I didn't open anything for 2 weeks because I just wanted to see, what would happen. And then I started opening packs. So sometimes I go in the middle of the night, like last night, after Joel had messaged me and said that there's this one card. I went in on the store and I bought as many packs as I could. I spent about 250,000 wax just buying packs all night. And then that's probably why you can't see packs that are, packs are more expensive now, because I've gone and bought most of them, and I intend to buy the other half of them tonight. So, it's your last chance, people, to go and buy those packs tonight, because I'm coming in strong and I want that card. So you find it, it's 20,000 on the table in wax equivalent. You don't find it, it's mine. It becomes a prize at some point in the future for a spatial mathematics question, which will blow your brains. Now, I can see there's 10,000 packs available and only one burnt. Well, there you go. How many of those packs are available on the market today?
Actually, there's way more of those that are burnt. There's only about 950 or so that are unopened.
How much would it be for all 950 of them?
Well, it depends if people are selling them or not. You know, you have to look at the marketplace, and
there's only about 32 or so that are left on the marketplace from those heroes. I bought some last night. I was after Joel had popped that one card. I was like, oh well, maybe the Electric Genesis wants to come and play, but the Electric Genesis does not want to come to play.
I would strongly suggest that your viewers buy as many of these packs as possible, because tonight at midnight I'm going to go and buy them all.
So, Mr. Wizard, I want to give you the platform here. I'm going to ask you a short question, then a long one. The short question is, will you come back and deliver some more content?
Yes.
Great. Appreciate that. This question really is not so much a question as an opportunity. I want you to just go ahead and get up on the soapbox here and tell our listeners what you want them to know.
NFT is exactly where Bitcoin was when it started. We are just starting right now. We're just scratching the surface of a giant iceberg. You can see only the top of it, but you cannot see the entire iceberg below the surface. So right now you have the opportunity, and it's only right now that you have this opportunity to buy in at these low-level cards. They're in the alpha and the beta stage of Magic the Gathering, sort of, if you want to rack that into your brain. So you're buying alphas and betas right now, and this NFT world is going to go all the way for the next 20, 30 years. In the future, kids are going to be at school with their phones or their iPads, and they're going to be trading directly off their phone. I've got the ultra rare first edition Mego pack from Blockchain Heroes. Do you want to trade me for 700 of the new series, packs? These are the kids that are wise now, today. They're listening to this and they're going, I'm going to go and buy a pack. I'm going to store it on my blockchain, and I'm going to touch that until I get to, until I'm 17. And then when I'm 17, now that they're 13, now when I'm 17, then I'm going to have this one pack, and I'll be able to trade this one pack for 7,000 packs, in the future, because these packs aren't going to exist anymore. Or I'm going to take this ultra mythic card that the Blue Wizard has said he's going to pay $20,000 for. If I hold this for 3 years, how much will he pay then? He'll pay $80,000, $100,000. Now they start thinking with their brains. You've got to drop your emotional affect, like they tell you in Westworld. Remove emotional affect. Stop reacting emotionally. Start thinking mathematically, like a computer would think. If I take a card series, whatever card series it is, NFT, doesn't matter what it is, and I remove 40% of the market, 40% gone for 10 years, the other 60% will rise in value. It's just mathematics. That's all it is. Same thing that Bitcoin is. It's just mathematics. If I remove 4.5 million coin that have been lost forever, and there are 10 whales in the world that own 1.5 million coin each, and then the rest of the people have maybe 1 coin each, that means there's only 1.5 million coin left to be mined. They're only minted 900 coin a day, which means within a decade, there'll be no more minted coins for a period of about 100 years, because computers will be so slow that we'll have to come up with some new technology to mint a coin. So between the year 2032 to 2130, no coins are going to be minted on planet Earth. I mean, there'll be 0.01 sat minted a day, and that's it. So at that point, in the future, you're going to be able to take 0.01 of a Bitcoin at $50 million a Bitcoin, which is $500,000, and buy a round trip to Mars on 0.01 Bitcoin. Wrap your mind around that. Once we get to $100 million, $200 million of Bitcoin, you can buy an entire street of houses. Heck, you can buy the whole city, if you've got a few hundred Bitcoin. But right now, how humans are thinking, I've got 15 Bitcoin, I'm super rich. I'm going to go and buy myself a car and a boat, and I'm going to go and spend all this Bitcoin right now. And you're going to kill yourself. In like 10 years' time, you're going to be sitting there going, I remember when I spent like 5 coin on this and 3 coin on that, and I could have bought just 7 billion times the amount of things.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same way you're going to kill yourself with this NFT stuff. You're going to look at stuff and you're going to go, I remember when that pack was $7.15. But then the wizard came in and bought every pack, and he only left one pack on the market, and now it's worth $2,700. What the hell is going on? I will hold back. So what I'll do is I'll let this interview go live. And then once it goes live, after 24 hours, I will go in and I will buy all the remaining packs. That's what I'm going to do. So your viewers will have plenty of time to go in and find that mythic card for me. So there is another thing that's going on here. I've got packs myself. So if they open and don't find it, that means it's in one of my packs. Now, if I know this, I'm not opening that pack for a decade. 1 decade, it will not be opened. That's my promise to you guys.
Well, there you go, guys. This is not the first interview. Again, the first one was disappeared, but this is our second interview with the Blue Wizard. There will be more, and we're going to look forward to having you back on and perhaps finding ways to work with you in the future.
That sounds absolutely fantastic, guys. Maybe we can do a longer interview in the future so you can ask more questions derived that you can come up with regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, and NFT. Give me some sort of like preset before so I can, formulate the correct answers for you. And we can also do live answers at the same time if you want to incorporate some sort of Telegram feed asking questions at the time of the interview and do actual live one, like a preset one. We can do the questions first and then do the live interview, do the voice change, and then, answer all the questions that we get from all of these viewers who I'm sure there's going to be thousands of them after they watch this.
Sir Lord Travis, that was a magical interview.
It is, and I love the voice change that happened there. That was awesome.
He's kind of like Mickey Mouse. I'm the Blue Wizard.
It's like, yo, welcome, I'm the Blue Wizard. What's going on?
Yeah. We could have made him sound more like Goofy though. I like Bitcoin. Gosh.
Gosh.
I mean, I don't know, Travis. I really, he might be just bamboozling us. But you guys need to go to the show notes, okay? badco.in/479 and the document that he sent us that we reference called the Bitcoin Global Roadmap. It's all there for you to look out. He's got it broken down into 5 stages. The birth of Bitcoin, which is 2007 and 2008. Bitcoin's childhood, 2009 to 2017. Bitcoin's adulthood, which he calls the sky region, 2018 to 2023, predicting by the end of year 15, 12% of people will be using Bitcoin. Stage 4 is the space stage, Bitcoin's maturity, which includes the 4th halving and perhaps the 5th halving up to year 20, where more than 80% of people will be using Bitcoin. And it says over $10 million per Bitcoin. And then 2032 is stage 5, hello, new world. Total acceptance of Bitcoin by all people, total death of fiat money. It's all there. And in this, Travis, he says 1 Satoshi will equal 1 USD.
1 Satoshi will equal 1 USD. Now, if that's the case, then 1 Bitcoin would be worth about $100 million.
That's exactly what it says here. I mean, that's pretty astronomical. But if that's the new money, right, if we're not using fiat currency and Bitcoin has replaced it, well, There you go. There's your complete economy wrapped up in Bitcoin and precious metals and stocks, bonds, real estate, and so forth.
Yeah, and one of the things that that I was watching, somebody was talking about, Bitcoin. Oh, it was on a Clubhouse. I was listening in on a Clubhouse, and somebody had said, "Oh, well, there's only 21 million. Like, will they ever make more? Like, are they like, what if the the core Bitcoin group decides they want to make more?" And this one guy says, "No, I don't anticipate this to happen. What I do anticipate down the road is that maybe they make Bitcoin have more decimal points because it's going to be needed, right? So if one Satoshi's worth $1, then maybe they take the 8 decimal points and move it to 12 decimal points, and then you're able to make more at that point."
Well, I mean, it would be the death of Bitcoin to make more. Can you imagine how quickly?
Don't make more, you just make it more divisible.
Right. I'm just saying, can you imagine how quickly the price of Bitcoin and the value would collapse if the core team and the Bitcoin community all agreed, let's make 21 million more.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just not going to
be
happen.
Ridiculous. Could you imagine, though, if you had just 0.01 Bitcoin and one Satoshi is $1, you have $1 million just off of 1/100th of a Bitcoin.
Wow. Well, we hope you guys have enjoyed this show, and we're going to encourage you to share this episode, especially with those that you want to turn on to crypto or to NFTs in general, because he is all in on this stuff. Yeah. And we had another discussion with him as a sidebar after the interview about potentially maybe working on some sort of NFT series with him.
Yeah. And I think that we're going to have him probably back again. So if you guys have any additional questions that you would like us to ask him, just shoot us an email at badcryptopodcast.com. badcryptopodcast@gmail.com. Shoot us an email, and maybe let's ask him some questions that might reveal some additional information that we'd like to know in the crypto space. Because after hearing this one, you can tell this guy's really bright. He was in some way part of the conversations of those early days, and very fascinating. Really, really enjoyed that, and look forward to chatting with him again.
Absolutely. Want to give a quick shout out to one of our show sponsors, Lattice Exchange. If you want a transparent, decentralized exchange, it's the place to check out. They've got a very active Telegram, and we encourage you to go to lattice.exchange, see what they're all about. It's super fast, it's super secure, it's powerful, and I think you're going to dig it. And we're glad that they're a sponsor of the show. Lattice.exchange.
Thank you so much, Lattice Exchange. Thank you so much to the Blue Wizard, and thank you so much to each and every one of you who have tuned in to listen to this super epic interview. Make sure, as Joel said, to share this, because I think this is some interesting news in here. This right here has a lot of insight that I think other people would love to hear. So if you have a friend that is interested in the crypto space, and shoot them over this episode. This is episode number 479. The URL is badco.in/479, and share that with your friends, because if you do share it, it will prove that you know how to stay bad.
Who's bad?
The Bad Crypto Podcast is a production of Bad Crypto LLC. The content of the show, the videos, and the website is provided for educational, informational, and entertainment purposes only. It's not intended to be and does not constitute financial, investment, or trading advice of any kind. You shouldn't make any decisions as to finances, investing, trading, or anything else based on this information without undertaking independent due diligence and consultation with a professional financial advisor. Please understand that the trading of Bitcoins and alternative cryptocurrencies have potential risks involved. Anyone wishing to invest in any of the currencies or tokens mentioned on this podcast should first seek their own independent professional financial advisor. Will it really prove that?
I don't know.
I'm wondering. I don't know.